Aubrey, the emperor of the Chu kingdom in his study, is plunged into deep self-reflection. He begins to suspect that he might have misjudged the queen, Natalie, based on the words of concubine Ellie. In the past, during a chaotic court situation, a masked woman approached Aubrey, who was then an overlooked prince. She helped him rise to power, with the condition that he marry Natalie, a daughter of the Shen family, as queen. Later, the mask slipped, revealing the woman to be Ellie. Ellie claimed that she was indebted to the Shen family, so she wanted Natalie to be queen. She also showed Aubrey a jade pendant, convincing him that she was the girl he had saved from human traffickers in his youth. Ellie further told Aubrey that Natalie was in love with someone else. Furious upon hearing this, Aubrey, on his wedding night with Natalie, ordered the palace maids to punish her according to palace rules. As a result, Natalie was brutally tortured and sent to the cold palace. Ellie, on the other hand, entered the palace as a noble concubine and received all of Aubrey's favor. However, as time passed, Aubrey's doubts resurfaced. He recalled various encounters, including the mysterious woman in the imperial garden. An investigation revealed that the woman he saw in the garden was Natalie, who had climbed over the cold palace wall with her maid. Then, a fire occurred in the cold palace, and it was initially believed that Natalie and her maid had died. But upon autopsy, the bodies were proven not to be theirs. Realizing he might have been deceived, Aubrey banished Ellie from his presence. While walking in the city, he noticed a popular shop called Lanky Pavilion. Inside, he caught sight of a veiled woman with a familiar figure, but she disappeared. He tried to enter the inner courtyard to search for her, but was stopped by the shop's owner. After leaving, he ordered his men to investigate the shop. At the same time, Natalie, who had been running a successful beauty business from the cold palace, was warned by Judy, the shop's owner, that Aubrey might have discovered their deception. As they were about to flee, they were faced with a city full of imperial guards. Just when they were in despair, a white-robed scholar, whom Natalie had previously bumped into, arrived in his carriage. Natalie and Janine decided to hide in the carriage, planning to kidnap the scholar if necessary. Surprisingly, the scholar knew they were in the carriage and let them stay. The carriage passed through the city gates without being searched. After leaving the city, Natalie learned that the scholar was actually very skilled in martial arts, contrary to his weak appearance. Natalie, on the run from the palace, meets a white-robed scholar named Dominic. Initially skeptical of his claim to know martial arts, Natalie, who has a background in Taekwondo, tries to show her own strength. Dominic, a man from the Ji Kingdom, reveals that he guessed Natalie would want to leave the city due to the chaos. He offers to take her and her maid, Janine, to the Ji Kingdom, and they agree to pose as siblings to avoid suspicion. They stop at a shabby inn on their journey. Natalie senses something amiss with the innkeeper, whose leering glances make her and Janine uneasy. That night, the innkeeper and they attempt to kidnap them using a sleeping gas. However, Dominic and his servant Charles intervene. They discover that the inn is a front for a human trafficking operation. Dominic forces the innkeeper to release other captive girls. Just as they deal with this situation, a group of soldiers arrives. The leader is a guard from the palace, searching for Natalie. Dominic manages to persuade the soldiers to leave without searching the inn. The next day, they prepare to leave. A girl, whom Dominic saved from the inn, wishes to become his maid to repay her debt of gratitude, but is turned down. She follows their carriage for a while. Later, at a tea shed, they encounter Aubrey, the emperor of the Chu kingdom, along with his soldiers. Dominic shields Natalie by saying she is his sister and has her stay in the carriage. To avoid further meetings with Aubrey, Dominic decides to take a different route. The new route leads them into a forest. There, they're stopped by a seemingly menacing bandit. To Natalie's surprise, Dominic seems to know him. The bandit, who is actually more friendly than he appears, invites them to his village. Natalie realizes the village might be a bandit stronghold. At the village, they are welcomed by the village leader, Dominic's acquaintance. Just as they are about to start a welcome feast, an urgent matter arises. The village has an outbreak of a mysterious illness in the prison. Dominic and Natalie go to the prison to investigate. Natalie, observing the symptoms of the sick prisoners and guards, suspects it is dysentery. The villagers, including Dominic and the village leader, are skeptical as local doctors have been unable to identify or cure the disease. But Natalie, drawing on her knowledge from her previous life, assures them that she can treat it, confident that what seems like a serious and mysterious illness to them is a relatively common and treatable condition in modern times.